Tom, I have a bad brain. I forget basic shit all the time. I am perpetually sort of disinterested, and then I get periods of horrible hyperfocus. That said, I have a photographic memory about one thing in particular, and it's I can always remember what I said to someone when I've made them laugh the hardest. And Tom, do you know what yours is? Do you know what the hardest I've ever seen you laugh is?
I do. And Joe, the reason that I know that is one, because I was there, and two, because you told me that you were going to do this bit to open this episode. And also, since you told me that, I've been replaying this scenario over and over in my head. And each time I laugh like it's the first time.
Let me set the scene for you. We're playing Smash Brothers. That's the end of the scene.
This is pre-Rona times, so we're doing the unforgivable sin of being in the same room.
You were playing Falco, and I was playing Luigi, and I had just said that Luigi is a pog at the start of the match.
He's a pog, folks. He's a pog.
He's like kind of thick. Like his basic combo, he does throw it back. It's pretty good.
No, this is especially funny because at the beginning of the match, they show the official character portraits, and Luigi's is him with just like this ooh-woo look on his face, and he's throwing back that fucking caboose. He's got a total dump truck.
He's cheeked out like crazy. And anyway,
dummy thing.
And we have since ridden lots of things together, performed together, done lots of things together. Nothing I have ever fucking said to you has gotten you to laugh that hard.
Luigi is a pog. I also, to be clear, I fucking lost that match so hard. I may as well have put the controller down.
Yeah, you got kind of sloppy. You were really not handling it well.
No, I don't remember the equivalent scenario where I made you laugh that hard, because I don't think I've ever told a joke in my life. So, you told me to think of the equivalent, and instead I just thought of Luigi as a pog, and I had a great time.
You thought, what if I said those words?
Hey everybody, welcome to Anime Sickos, the podcast for geniuses where we take a probing look at the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I am Tom Harrison, an anime sicko.
I am Joe, an anime sicko.
This week on Anime Sickos, we're going to be doing an Oops, All Goofs episode where we're just going to be doing little bitty tiny segments, just a lot of them, that have no place to go otherwise. We would never find anywhere that they fit. So we're just going to do an episode where it's nothing but that. It's going to be fucking great because... Let me just kick it off. Joe, I want to talk about some brainworm joke phrases. We've talked about this briefly before in the past, but jokes that like aren't even that good on their own, that just as soon as you hear them, you it's like the cerebral borer from Turok, and it's just like going down there. It's gonna be in your brainstem forever. Joe, what are some brainworm phrases that you got in your terrible dome?
I think about Venture Brothers a lot. Really, anything 24 says is good. But specifically, I don't know if it's an earlier season. They're literally in a locker room, and there's a scary guy, and he says, "We can't go over there by that guy, that scary guy." And that anytime I am trying to do something in life, and there's like a man in front of me. I hear that, like, just sort of echoing back there in my mind.
Joe, I know exactly what episode you're talking about. It is Season 2, Episode 2, Hate Floats. And the reason I know that is, one, I just recently rewatched the whole series, and also because one of my brainworm phrases is from the same fucking episode, where they're trying to figure out a way to deal with those scary guys. And 21 says that he has weapons in his room. And he gets them all to his room, and he opens up the cabinet that he says has the weapons in them. And 24 asks, is this them? And 21 corrects him saying, are these they? Which is technically the grammatically correct way to say that sentence. And 24 just goes, and it's like a complete fucking just throwaway line. Like the next line of actual dialogue steps on the end of this line. You don't even get a chance to laugh at it. But after are these they, he just goes, who talks like that?
Anytime you read anything dumb from a coworker, that's there waiting for you.
Oh my, anytime there's like a weird post from a journalist who's like acting like what they're doing is like really important, like this post is like doing justice in the face of an evil world, I'm just like, who talks like that?
It's the Sir guys.
It's true. It's the guys who call Donald Trump Sir. Who talks like that? Fuck. Okay, Joe, another one. What's another one?
The other thing is, I think you should leave has continued to occupy an outsized space in my brain, and it's from the sketch where he eats the receipt paper and he dies. But towards the end, he's explaining what happened. He's like writhing in pain, explaining how he got sick, and he's like, I ate the receipt paper and now my stomach is absolutely fucked. And if I have any sort of discomfort with my stomach, or like even after eating and I feel something completely minor but just slightly off baseline, that's in there.
One that's in my brain, and it's sort of like a curse to me that there's no just clean YouTube clip of just this, is early in the run of King of the Hill, Bobby Hill has a running gag where he, for whatever reason, learned that it was funny to hike up his pants very high and say in an old Jewish man's voice, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
He learned right, because it's good.
And like, again, it's just like, who talks like that? Like, anytime I see a post from a deranged person, a deranged blue check melting down, I just want so badly to have Bobby Hill be like, what are you talking about?
That episode rules because, like, I think 2 episodes later, Hank Hill mentions that he's waiting for a day where Bobby gets beat up by a bully at school, but he doesn't think it's ever coming because every time he gets in trouble, he does prop comedy and makes friends. Which tracks based on the fact, because when he does it at school, like, everyone loses their mind. Like, he does it in the hallway to, like, a group of 4 older kids, and they go nuts.
And then, like, Connie is like, I don't really get that. Like, what's the joke? And he's like, I don't get it either, but that's adult humor for you.
Yes. Bobby is just a beautiful character of fiction.
He really is.
I have a lot of dumb Simpson stuff floating around, but I didn't realize this one is as good as it was until you sent me the clip. And there's that Simpsons episode where Marge and Homer are trying to rekindle their marriage, and they end up naked and running around in a golf course and stuff. And at one point they go to a bed and breakfast, and there's just like these older women doing a jigsaw puzzle at the table, and it's like 96% done. And it's clearly a donkey.
It's a donkey with like an old hat on.
And just one of the ladies puts a piece down, which is just a space in its neck, and she goes, oh, it's a donkey. One of probably the best visual gags on that show.
It's you're missing out the part that this entire scene is basically completely silent. Like, there's just like the ticking of the clock, and there are these old people doing this puzzle completely silent. And there's like a lot of time that goes by. I mean, like, it's not a lot of time in the grand scheme of things. It's like a couple of seconds, but a couple of seconds of like absolute silence in a Simpsons episode. And they put in this fucking solid one color donkey neck piece. Oh, it's a donkey.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, I think of that anytime I'm like playing a game and I don't know where to go. Like, I'm trying to solve a puzzle that I didn't realize is in fact not a puzzle. I just have to walk through the door.
Yeah.
And anytime I have that like very obvious realization, it's the donkey. It's the jigsaw puzzle.
Yep. One brainworm phrase that sticks with me and has stuck with me for years is from Homestar Runners, from a Strong Bad email. Homestar Runner is fucking great, as you probably all know, but this line in particular, especially because it's so small and minor, just absolutely kills me and is part of me forever. And it's when Strong Bad is trying to teach a person who emailed him how to write poetry. And because of my terrible education, most of the poetry I've been made to read is extremely bad. So I have a low opinion of the art form in general, which I know is wrong, but there you go. But he's saying that the way that you make something a poem is you remove consonants from words. And as an example, he says, if you take the line, "It is never ever over, my lover of clover," it becomes poetry when you instead write, "'Tis ne'er or, malore o clower." And fucking "'tis ne'er or, malore o clower" is like, anytime I think of like poetry or a high art, it's straight to that.
Yep.
And the final one I have to talk about is a line from The Big Lebowski, which again, it's like a very minor throwaway line, but we learned when I like brought up to you that like this is a brainworm for me. We looked it up and we found out that it is Steve Buscemi's favorite line in the script, which fucking correct. You're a genius, Steve. You've done it. And it's like in the middle of the fucking movie, and the plot is unimportant and hyper convoluted, as is the case for The Big Lebowski. Basically, a bunch of shit has gone wrong for the dude, and he's in a very bad situation. And Steve Buscemi's character, Donnie, doesn't understand any of it. And the dude has been given a mobile phone, which is huge because it's from the past. And he's supposed to answer it, and it's going to give him like instructions on how to do crime or whatever. And it's been ringing for the entire scene. It's just been going on, and he hasn't been answering it because he's too emotional about the stuff going on. And he's just like, fuck it, I'm leaving. And as he's like halfway out of the parking lot where they're all standing, Steve Buscemi, as Donnie, just yells out, "Phone's ringing, dude." It's just like, oh my god. Joe, about a month ago, you had a very good tweet that I'd like to share with the listeners and you again. It goes thusly: I think the worst thing that can happen during a job interview is after answering all the questions, your skeleton bursts out of your body and starts punching the interviewer. That would be so embarrassing.
I still think that.
It's true. I'm with you that that's one of the worst things that could happen. But I think it might be worse if you were at an interview and the person who was like taking you to the interview, like the receptionist, was like, "Oh, you got to carry a huge wedding cake into the interview with you. It's for the interviewer's wedding today. It really has to stay pristine." And they hand you a wedding cake with like 10 tiers, and you walk into the interview room and you fall over and you completely smush the entire wedding cake on the interviewer, and then you get Rona.
Oh yeah, that'd be bad. I think that's a little worse than mine. What if though? Have you considered that you complete a series of very high stakes interviews? The tension is high, and you finally get your offer letter. And when you open your email to see the salary details and your start date, you are instantly transported back in time, and you realize you are on flight 175.
On 9/11.
On 9/11, no less. Not on 9/10. On 9/11. I think that would be bad if that happened when you were trying to find a job.
That would be quite bad. I don't think I would enjoy that. Joe, how about this though? I think this might be even worse. You're at the interview and you get through the first phase. It was a pretty normal interview. Then you get to the second phase where it's like a group interview. And you all are asked the same questions about like a strange scenario and how would you deal with this. And like, it's really tough because everyone else is really good too. And you don't want to repeat anybody. So if someone goes before you and says what you would say, you have to come up with something even better. And that's really hard. Imagine you get through that and you're like tired, like really tired. You've been interviewing all day. And they're like, all right, break for lunch. And you're like, fine. And you have a little sandwich. You have a bottle of water. It's one of those half bottles, the little ones. And then you go for the third part of the interview. This one's a solo interview again. And this one, you kind of get the sense that like it's sort of just like wrapping up loose ends, like you probably definitely got the job. And you feel really good, and then you get to the end, and instead of like giving you a handshake, the interviewer puts a Frieza mask on you and opens a big door, and there's Goku.
He's got to be that's finishing charging the spirit fountain.
Oh, it is seconds away from completion.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. We told each other just to write more of these, and Tom wins.
I mean, that would suck. You'd get killed.
Yeah, that'd be fucking bad.
Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. 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 Joe, you recently went viral with a tweet. It's not important what it was. It was a fucking joke. You know how they are. You've heard them.
I hate it. I hate seeing it. In fact, I hate seeing it. I especially hated it when I got a DM from Fuck Jerry trying to pay me $50 to put it on their Instagram.
It's incredible to me that Fuck Jerry is like a very valuable company that people have like full-time jobs at, and it's called Fuck Jerry. Anyway, that's not important. What's important is that, Joe, you got a reply from the worst account on the fucking planet, Art Decider.
I hate Art Decider so much. They replied art, and I replied no, and then they fucking deleted it like a coward. Like they can't take
cowards.
They can't take any negative feedback or anyone who doesn't love their awful bit. It's a lazy account.
Say, what is the bit, Joe? For those who don't know about Art Decider,
like
what's the bit?
Literally, like a good post happens, and then someone tags Art Decider, and they say art, period, and then everyone likes it for some reason.
Yeah, they decide if a post is art.
And guess what? It is. And the only time they say not art is when, like, there's like a statistic about like, oh, everyone's going to die in the plague, and they go not art.
Or it's like if a GOP politician is like, I can't wait to drink blood of the inferior races, and they're like, not art.
Yep. And it's the laziest shit in the world. All gimmick accounts are bad.
It's the laziest gimmick account because like there's only 2 tweets it can ever do: art or not art, and there's like there's nothing you can say afterwards.
Yeah.
Like all the account is like, did a liberal say this or did a Republican say this? If a liberal said it, it's art. If a leftist said it, no one's gonna tag Art Decider because they all hate Art Decider. And if a Republican said it, it's not art. And like, what's the people who I really don't understand, who I like are scary to me, they're like mutants, are the people who will gleefully tag Art Decider on viral tweets to like get their take. Like you can just write the word art yourself.
Put it on a sticky note and then put it on your screen. Also, that account won like a Webby Award or something.
Oh my God.
I saw him calling for votes. It'd be like, make sure you vote for me on the Webby Awards. And I say this as someone who has a podcast, which is, we've established, the worst thing you can do. That's rough to think about the Webby Awards, and that Art Decider is like a clear favorite to win. He's the prized hog that shows up every year.
We're the anime sickos, and we're here to say anime is bad in a war crimes way.
So lately I've been thinking about like what would be a perfect video game to me. I'm not saying like what a perfect video game looks like. I just mean a game designed to squeeze the most amount of enjoyment out of my brain and my brain only. Mm-hmm. And I've decided that the most addictive game to me would be a Metroidvania, and then every time you clear a room, it just plays an episode of King of the Hill.
Fuck. Okay, Joe, I like that. I'm with you. Here's something that I think all video games should implement. It was implemented in the Wii fighting game Tatsunoko vs. Capcom Ultimate All-Stars, which I played with Kevin Johnson for a couple of weeks before he got way better at it than I did. But here's the thing about that video game. You know how in fighting games it'll like show your combo, like the counter of a combo, like how many hits you got?
Yeah.
And then at the end it'll show like how much damage the combo did. Tatsunoko vs. Capcom does what I believe is the most ingenious move that has ever occurred in the history of time, which is that the amount of damage you do in a combo is generally somewhere from like 0 to 50 damage. But what it does is that it multiplies literally every single number in the game times 1 billion. So if you do the minimum amount of damage possible, you've done 1 billion damage.
Like when you crouch and just like kick their shin once.
Yeah, it's 1 billion damage, dude. Everyone has like 100 billion HP. It's the fucking best shit in the universe. Because have we not talked about Numby Go Up? Yes. Now imagine that you are playing a Metroidvania and you clear a room and you get like 1 key or like 1 power up.
This is after I watched the episode of King of the Hill, right?
Exactly. Now imagine if instead of giving you 1 key, they gave you 1 billion keys. And when you come across a locked door, it's like, oh, this door has 1 billion locks. Think of how badass you would be if you opened all 1 billion locks.
That's a good point. Like, I don't even know how there isn't enough space on a door for that many locks. I guess like the keyholes could be like everywhere in the room.
It's a fucking magic door, dude. It's an enormous door. And that makes the atmosphere even more
No,
grandiose.
you feed it a key one at a time. Like, you twist it, it disappears. You put another one in, it goes away. And then eventually...
hold up. Remember from Super Mario Galaxy, like the little fat pervert who wanted you to feed him like 1 million stars and he did the inflation fetish thing and got really huge? That's what the doors are doing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Man, I completely forgot about the creep from Mario Galaxy. I can't wait to play an HD remaster of him and feel weird.
My ideal video game would be if it was F-Zero GX, but every time I did a good run, a good sort of time around a track, my podcast would get downloaded 1,000 times.
I was literally just about to joke that actually the best video game would be like a very realistic version of Twitter where everyone talks about your podcast.
Yes! Fuck! But of course, every half an hour it shows an episode of King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Never been horny. Never been horny. Don't tell the paper that I ever got horny.
Joe, this is a good episode. We're just hitting dingers. We're knocking them out of the park. This is just, we're stunting on him with these good bits. And I think with that in mind, we should bring back a bit that we've done once or twice in the past, and it's been a hit every time. We haven't done this in a while. We haven't been able to find a place where it fits. So the Oops, All Goofs episode seems like the perfect time. It's fucking Guess the Devil Fruit. You ready to get mad? Ready to get pissed off, Joe?
I have watched no more One Piece. The only thing I've learned since we last played, I say played like it's
a real game.
It's a real game. Is that there is a character named Big Mom.
Oh, she kicks ass. I love Big Mom.
And she can put her spirit in like objects, and those objects are she calls them her homies.
Yeah, they're called homies.
Yeah, that kicks ass. But that's the only thing I've learned since we last played.
Yeah, she lives on like a Disney island where everything, all the inanimate objects have like eyes and smiles. And the reason is because she stuck souls into them and made them her homies.
Oh, those are like real people souls?
No, it's part of her soul.
Oh, okay. I was going to be like, oh no, she was killing people to make the teapot dance.
Although she does institute a annual soul income tax for all of her citizens where they have to pay part of their soul to her to sort of keep her power super strong. It's fun. It's whatever. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a different devil fruit, Joe. And this one, I think I have told you about this, but I'm going to assume that you blocked it all out because of trauma when I told you this. And if you do remember, just kind of try to play along. Because the fruit that we're talking about today is the hobby fruit. Hobby spelled Hobby, like a hobby that you might have. Not a weird pun, just a hobby. The hobby fruit. Now, Joe, I want you to tell me what you think the hobby fruit allows the user to do. Now, again, all of the fruits that I have been listing for Guess the Devil Fruit have really stupid names that inexplicably grant nearly godlike powers. And I just want to give you a hint that has not changed. The hobby fruit makes the user basically a living god. Joe, you still there? Did the call drop?
No, I'm here. I'm pissed. I'm trying to think, like, using a One Piece brain, which is like, how would you describe One Piece brain? Like, you have like a kind of grasp on basic science stuff, and then you like just inject some real goofy shit into it.
I think what it is a very deep grasp of plotting and sort of storytelling basics that allow you to make a very compelling plot that can unravel over the course of years. But at the same time, instead of going to school, you watched a single Roadrunner cartoon 10,000 times.
Yes, I think that's the challenge. I'm trying to think of like the Looney Tunes implication of the hobby fruit. Does it involve like turning your enemies into like a model train that you keep in your garage?
Pretty much. You're very close.
Wait, did I almost get it in one? Oh wow.
Well, here's the thing, Joe. The hobby fruit inexplicably has like 5 abilities that are not related to each other. One of them, I'll give it to you. One of them is if the user touches someone, they can turn that person into a toy.
Okay.
That's like, you're a third of the way there now.
Okay. Well, that's like, are they dead then?
No, they're just a toy. They're still alive.
Okay.
But it is a bad situation for them because of the other abilities that the hobby fruit grants. What do you think they might be?
You can vor toys. Like, I don't know what that would be a bad deal if you were a toy and that was the other ability, but
no, that's not the other ability. I mean, you could eat a toy. That's always on the table, even in real life. But no, that hasn't happened in the show.
It's unrelated. Can I just go with flying? Can I throw that out there?
No, not flying. Although, Joe, I'll give you another one of the abilities for free because it is like flying in that it is completely unrelated and super weird. Which is when you eat this fruit, you lose the ability to age and are forever stuck at the physical age of when you ate it.
Huh. So you're like perpetually doing your hobby. Like you're always pushing your little train set until the planet goes away.
Yeah, except I mean like if you ate this when you were like 90, you wouldn't get any more wrinkles. So yeah, the user is like 30, but she looks like a little girl.
Mm-hmm. That classic anime trick.
But Joe, there are 2 thare about the hobby fruit. 2 remaining abilities that you need to get. No, I want you to just think about this. So you are unable to age and you can turn anything you touch into a toy. The toy is still alive and it still is the person you touched. That doesn't seem like godlike power. But I gotta tell you that this is one of the most powerful fucking fruits in the show. What can it do? Tell me.
Can it, like, if you arrange the toys in such a way, does it cause a star to collapse? Like, well, how powerful can it be?
How powerful is it? Let's just say that if this devil fruit user was not defeated in the fight that they had, if the fight had gone another way, the Straw Hats would have been utterly defeated, completely without hope of ever coming back.
Does it undo friendship?
Kind of, yes.
Oh, no, okay. Oh, wait, does it do something with memories? Does it just fuck up your memories? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, yeah.
When you get turned into a toy, every memory that every person in the entire world ever had of you gets instantly erased and can never be returned.
That kicks ass. There's a China Mieville book called Kraken, and there's a pyromancer in that who has like he developed a fire so powerful that like if he burned a building down with it, not only would it burn down, but the world's memory of the building would also burn away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it, basically it.
Yep. So Joe, we're pretty fucking close to the end of the hobby fruit. We're not there.
Okay.
Yes, it can turn anyone into a toy instantly with simply a single touch. Yes, it makes the user unable to age. And yes, it makes everyone who remembered that person forget them instantly when they turn into a toy. If the toy is like, don't you remember me? I'm your friend. everyone's just like, what are you talking about? I've never had a friend. There's one more thing that this can do, which is insanely stupid, that makes this devil fruit that allows someone to easily take over an entire country. What is it?
Can you clone yourself?
No. More powerful than that.
Fuck. Can you clone Hulk Hogan? That's better.
I'll just tell you, you're not going to get it. Joe, when you turn someone into a toy, for like a few minutes after the transformation, you can just program them. You can just make them your slave. You can just say like, hey, so you're unable to ever do anything against me. And also you have to do hard labor forever. And they're programmed now. And that's how it is forever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see why that would cause some problems.
It's so fucked. It's so dumb.
Well, how did this person ever lose? Like I went from being pissed at like the name and how stupid it is now to being pissed that they fucked it up. Like this seems like a home run of a power.
So yeah, no, it fucking is. It is basically omnipotent. The only weakness is that if the user ever loses consciousness for reasons that they did not consent to, basically, like they can go to sleep, but like if they ever get knocked out or faint, the powers just all get undone and everyone turns back into their normal selves and everyone regains the memories they had of them. And what happens is the villains feed Usopp a very spicy hot sauce, and Usopp makes a crazy face, and the user gets so freaked out by the face that she faints.
That's the Looney Tunes shit. That is the Roadrunner nonsense. It's really funny because you'll talk about One Piece with me, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's really interesting. I wonder how, in the context of an anime fight, that gets resolved." And sometimes there's just, "Oh, he took a big nap."
Yep. In the show's defense, though, the face that Usopp makes is crazy. Wait till you see it.
Cog Talk. Cog Talk.
I have something that I wanted to do for a Cog Talk, but it's not actually a Cog segment because it only applies to me. It's not something that can be extrapolated to the wider public, and it's that there's a guy at work who also has my name.
Exact name.
And his boss doesn't understand there's two of us. Like, he is always angrily emailing me and being like, "Why weren't you at this meeting?" And I have to be like, there are two of us, and I'm not that one who... You're not the boss of me, you're the boss of the other one. And every time I like bring this up politely, he gets indignant. He gets so pissed.
Like, this is a problem that should have occurred maximum once, but it's happened. How long has it happened, Joe? Like, at least like 6 months, right?
It happened the second day because I started the job and I started getting this other guy's emails. Like, I got a call from the other Joe, and he's good-natured about it, but like the first call I got, like I literally sat down at my desk for like the second day of my job, certainly the first day where I was actually doing something, and the phone rings and it's a guy who's like, "You're ruining my life right now."
And so this boss, you tell him like, "Oh, I'm the different Joe Anderson," and he gets indignant. What flavor of indignance are we talking about? Is he indignant that he has to deal with such buffoonery, or does he think you're lying?
If he thinks I'm lying. He definitely thought I was lying all the time initially. I think it's like half and half now. Like an example is, I was sent something that was intended for the other Joe, obviously, and he was like, "Hey, can you take care of this JSON data array for these blah 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 reasons?" And I responded, like trying to be like cordial and sort of fun about it. I was like, "Oh, I'm not really a JSON guy. I think you got the wrong person. Like, like I'm not the guy." And he got pissed.
God.
He thought like I sat in a meeting with him, agreed to do this task, and then just told him I couldn't do it. And he has learned that there's multiple versions of Joe. Like, he knows this, but he has to keep relearning it. Like, the first time I like confronted him about it, I was like, you keep sending a lot of emails to me that are meant for, you know, the person working for you. Some of them are like security related, so it's extra funny you're fucking it up. And I was like, there are 2 Joes with the same last name. And his response was, there's no way to tell.
Do you not have different email addresses?
We do. That he was just saying that, like, he's only willing to type like JOE into Outlook and then have it guess. Like, that's all he's able to do, and it's all he's willing to do.
And he's the boss, so he's right. He gets to do that. You are wrong for not being the right Joe, you idiot.
He got so pissed, and like, I didn't even know how to like de-escalate sometimes, because like I didn't even know what part he was confused about. Like, I don't know if he thought that like he was upset that he keeps sending to the wrong Joe, or he's upset because like,
or is it to him, there really is no way to tell the difference between 2 peons. He is a boss class and you are cog class. And so he's just like, if you want me to distinguish between the 2 of you, I'm sorry, I simply am not capable.
Yeah, and to be clear, we're not on the same team. We don't do the same shit. Like, it's not like we have similar responsibilities where, like, this is a mix-up. Like, oh, you're in the same department, you're both named the same thing. No, I don't fucking know where he is. He doesn't even, like, sit in our building. He's, like, in a suburb somewhere.
This kicks ass.
It's infuriating. And I feel bad, too, because, like, sometimes I'll get to my laptop on Monday and I'll see that like an email came in Sunday morning that was urgent for the other Joe, and it's like, well, his life sucks now. But I can't like just sit around waiting to forward everything to the right guy.
Life kicks ass. Emails rule. Everything works so well. Things were designed well, and they all work. And the people in charge are good at it.
Ugh.
Joe, we've often spoken about Smash Brothers. We love Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers, as you may or may not know, is the brainchild of Masahiro Sakurai, a Japanese guy who is the most poorly treated cog in the history of time. He is basically like the example of if you took the worst case scenario of every possible facet of cog's life, and then you were told, actually, you don't have the imagination required to imagine the real worst case scenario, and you see the real worst case scenario, and you're like, oh no, that's way worse. And then all of them replied to one guy. That's him. That's Sakurai.
Yeah, he doesn't want to make Smash Brothers anymore. He hasn't wanted to make Smash Brothers forever. Like, I
think Melee, he was just like, all right, I did it. I'm done.
And he was like, I'm not going to do it anymore. And then every time Nintendo is like, okay, we'll make it without you. And then he has like this awful sense of like cog justice where he cares about his product, his brainchild too much that he then jumps onto the project and basically ruins his body. Like, he gives himself stomach ulcers. He gets worked very hard. He's very tired. Every time there's a Smash Brothers game coming out and they have interviews with Sakurai, it's always like, Mario will be in the game. I am very tired.
yes. And they're like, this is a pretty good game. When's the next game coming out? He's like, I am not sure. I haven't slept ever. Did not go to bed. Would like to try that one day. If I make another one, I don't get to. So I sure hope they don't make another one. I don't remember which Smash Brothers it was. I don't know if it was for the Wii U or Brawl, but it was announced at E3 before they asked him to do it. And like, he would have said no, but he's just like, well, they basically just went on stage and were like, hey, Sakurai, nice life's work you got there. Sure would be a shame if we fucked it up.
I'm sure in the announcement they also put a big picture of his face.
Yeah, this asshole. We're going to kill him again for you. Don't you love his blood? Doesn't his pain make you hoot?
It's funny reading about like the competitive players whenever they talk about balance, because they'll be like, Sakurai doesn't know anything about balancing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, first of all, that's not the correct approach. You should assume that he hates Smash Brothers, and every patch
Yes.
is an opportunity for him to get his vengeance.
And like, I don't know how true this is, but I certainly get the sort of sense that he's much more involved in like the weeds than most game developers. Because like, whenever there's a video like explaining a new thing, Like, he'll just talk so fucking in depth about like the weird little mechanics they put into every character in a way that like it's clear that he understands literally every single bit and put it all in with like specific intention, and like it was him that did it because he personally is so fucking like hyper fixated on these things. And the fact that he can't allow someone else to do this job, even though he hates it so much, but every time
when he recites like the in-depth mechanics, it sounds like a kid like reciting the state capitals out of fear that like if he gets it wrong, the nun will paddle him. Like it's just so joyless, but also he clearly is unbelievably skilled and talented.
He just can't. They can't make him stop. And the funniest thing is that his baby, like the character in the roster that he came up with, is Kirby. That's the game that he like sort of became a pro on. Is he invented Kirby?
Yeah, and Kirby has sucked shit in every Smash Brothers game except for the first one.
They clearly were like, "Hey, Sakurai, if you want your life's work to not get shat on, you're gonna have to keep doing it forever. Just absolutely kill yourself. Work your fingers to the bone, and also." As the blood price, you have to make Kirby shitty. You have to make him the most dumb cuck.
Yeah. There's someone on staff whose job is to go into Kirby's like data set and just make it bad every night.
Sakurai's like, well, I guess maybe one of the moves in his moveset can be good. That wouldn't be so bad. And then that guy is in charge of like finding that and undoing it, and then like making Sakurai have to work a 25-hour day the next day. Change the laws of time itself so that he has to work more.
Yeah, and they put a little Windex in his coffee. He does have one way he rebels every game, is that his wife designs the menus, and every Smash Brothers menu is a nightmare.
Like, it doesn't look good. It's hard to navigate.
Training is nestled in like background music, like just some insane choice.
But you have to go through like 3 submenus, and then it's an icon that's like the smallest one on the screen.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like his wife is a bad UI designer. I think his wife is a very good UI designer who is getting vengeance on behalf of her husband.
She's never met before.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. She just knows she's married to the Kirby guy, and one day she will get to meet him.
I think the inverse of Sakurai, the sort of example of a cog who, instead of being absolutely ground down by the heaviest boot of all time, the guy who sort of figured it out is Takehiko Inoue, a manga artist who is famous for the basketball manga Slam Dunk and also the Miyamoto Musashi samurai manga Vagabond.
Quite the range. Like 2 killer mangas. You got basketball and historical fiction.
Yeah, he kicked ass, and he's great as an artist. Like, his art is super detailed, some of the best in the entire industry, and his work has been massively successful. And so, usually if someone hits that status in the manga industry, they fucked up, because now they're a dead cog who never sleeps and works their entire life until they're dead at 50. But what he has done, he is, I think, the only smart manga artist. A lot of them will do a thing where they're like, I'm tired and I have enough money. So the series is going on hiatus, and then they put out chapters extremely rarely. Also, it might be like injury or illness. The Hunter x Hunter guy goes on huge hiatuses because when he writes manga, he dies. Mm-hmm. So what Inoue did is he's just like, fuck this, and I'm never going to draw manga again. And like Vagabond's not finished. Like, it's, the story is just like in the middle. And it's not like Berserk or Hunter x Hunter where it's like, oh, we're on hiatus, I'll finish it one day. He's just like, nah, I hate Vagabond, I hate drawing it, and I won't now.
And he has a lot of money. I mean, he's not a billionaire, but he's comfortable for the rest of his life. He did art, he succeeded, and was like, well, time to enjoy the remaining years I have.
This man is the smartest genius of all time, and anyone who has ever gotten mad at him for not continuing Vagabond is a class traitor.
Yeah, people get pissed at the Berserk author because I know he has like a quasi addiction to like Idolmaster, like just mobile games that are garbage, and that interferes with his work.
Yeah, where the goal of the game is to like unlock a PNG of a little girl.
Yeah. I think he should play them more. I think he should double down. He should buy 2 phones.
If you draw any given 2-page spread from Berserk, that's like a lifetime pass. Like, you're done. Like, you don't have to do it anymore. You've finished it.
Especially if it involves the demon hell world with the brain guy and his homies. Like, all of those like horror landscapes are like, they could be like posters on their own.
Yeah. This MF is a dumbass for not playing Idolmaster full time. I think, we all need to, we can't be like Sakurai. We have to be like Inoue and fucking just stop. Just stop doing it. General strike, but only for manga.
Yeah. Also, like, if I made $1 million, I'd be like, I'm like good for a while.
Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode.
Joe, we've spoken a lot on the show about how my college experience was really stupid and bad. And part of that was because in a lot of my English classes, I was made to read essays that were sort of about like the nature of medium and media and like how a sort of genre or medium changes the message of a work. And that's all good in theory, except the actual essays that I was assigned to read were all by idiots in 1995 who thought that VCRs were going to rewrite our brains and that all kids were going to become they were going to become obsessed with zapping, which is what they called changing the channel. All these fucking essay writers were so
zapping?
sure they were so fucking sure that zapping was going to become like a term that stuck and really made its mark on humanity. Like being able to change the channel in the middle of the show to zap between different fucking shows. They were like, well, this is going to radically rewrite the human brain.
I hate that term. Oh my God.
These kids are going to become like brain monsters who can't focus on anything. They're constantly going to be watching 10 TVs at once, like that guy at the end of The Matrix. You know they're going to be like that. And oh my God, with the fucking home taping, they're going to tape stuff, and then that's going to make them zap even harder. And it's just like, 1, this is dumb as hell, and 2, why am I reading this in the fucking 2010s? When VCRs are old, and I already know the effect that they had, which is that I made a big tape of Simpsons episodes that I watched 1,000 times, and I did not zap, and I did not have my brain devolve.
Oh my God. Zapping sounds like a fake teen trend to scare people. Like, teens today are doing a thing called Chicago earmuffs, and it just like doesn't make sense.
Oh shit. That sounds awful.
Yeah, but for zapping.
Chicago earmuffs is definitely where you have 2 people's asses on each side of your head and they both fart.
Yeah. Yep.
One of these essays, and one of the worst ones, was by David Foster Wallace, who, for all of his skill with the written word, is the biggest fucking dumbass when it comes to how people actually work.
Yeah. Also, an abuser, threw a lady out of a car. Not great.
Yeah, big time canceled guy, and with good reason.
Yeah, he also has some very not great pieces about like hip hop and rap circa 1990. They're good. Everyone should read them, not because they're good, but because it's like that like academic thing where they're talking about something cultural that he's approaching it from like this weird, distant anthropological sort of approach, and it just sounds stilted and weird.
His whole deal, I think, with these fucking essays is that if there's a cultural thing that he is not already familiar with, he assumes it has to be some sort of like weird brain-altering like miasma of crazy fucking vibes that will make your brain way different. And like rap, well, that can't just be music that sounds good and is good to hear for everyone. No, that's definitely like some extremely strange phenomenon that you need a white genius to decode. Otherwise, you'll never get it. And TV, well, like fucking one of these things that he always goes on about in his terrible essays about TV is that like he's afraid to watch it because he knows that he'll just become addicted, and that's the only thing he's going to be able to do is watch TV. And it's just like, hey, buddy, like TV doesn't show like weird hypnotic magic eyes. It doesn't just show like random images that like reprogram your brain. It's just TV shows. They're like stories. Hey, just like movies and shit. Like, you know that, right? You can just turn it off if you don't like it.
I had to teach a segment on online media literacy when I taught, and it was a bunch of essays that were basically that, but for what it means for online attention spans and like new media. And even when I agreed, I fucking hated reading it.
They all assume that the people are going to engage with this new thing in a way that has never been done before. And it's like, no, have you considered instead that people are going to use this new media to post and watch shit?
Yeah, those essays are funny when there's someone who like is a tech optimist who is like, well, this is going to change the way we read, and we're all going to be a bunch of educated professionals able to work from anywhere. And it's like, have you considered that everyone's going to just jack off?
Yeah, folks, if you ever are reading an essay about new media, cross it all out and write, people are going to jack off to it. And you're the smartest person in the world.
Yep. Do a find replace and put the word VCR in whatever noun was being talked about. And if it sounds dumb as shit, you can just probably get on with your life.
We're the anime sickos, and we're here to say anime is bad in a war crimes way.
So, Joe, a couple of years ago, I got you a Christmas gift, yeah? You know how that happens sometimes between friends? You've heard of that, right?
Yeah.
So this gift, I got it from the web store of Sean Bowers, an artist. He works for Jellyvision. Great guy, very nice. Actually drew the logo art for Anime Sickos and Shuffle Quest.
Yeah, we told him, like, here are our faces. Make them real fucking bad.
but also give us anime eyes.
Yeah.
You got it in one. I think the only note we had was that like we were too drippy and the logo text was already drippy. So it was like reading is very drip heavy, or it should just be sort of a sprinkling of drip.
It was specifically snot. It was there's too much snot.
Anyway, from his web store, he sells a t-shirt that reads, "Don't draft me. I watch anime."
It's in like an old Western font, like a saloon font, which is very good.
I saw this and I knew that no gift could be better for my good friend Joe. And did you like it?
Yeah, so I wore it to sleep. Like, that was my sleeping shirt for a very long time. I had to retire it, though, because, like, have you had this experience where when you sleep in a shirt for a long time, like, no matter how much you wash it, it has, like, permanent guy funk on it?
I've not, because I vary my sleep shirts. What I do have, which is a sort of corollary, very, very close to what you're describing, is all of my pillows are very yellow.
Yeah, so my thing is I wear one shirt until it becomes like a rag, and then I get a new one. Anyway, it didn't become a rag, but it just like smelled like a workout shirt even after I just finished washing it. But the other reason I like stopped wearing it is because one time I was wearing it around the house, and I decided I had to go run downstairs and like get stuff and like run to the store next door, and I forgot I had this fucking shirt on. Like literally 2 black teens pointed at me, like they were like, "What?" And then another lady just laughed at me, which I don't know if it was like a good shirt or whatever or not. Like she was with it or not, but it was a reaction, and it was a bad feeling to look down and realize that like I was wearing this bad shirt.
Jesus Christ, Joe. Those last 2 anecdotes are things that you've never told me before. And the joy that's blooming in my heart. Like, there are so many things we do in this life where we're just like planting seeds in a garden and then like closing the gate and never returning. And we just hope that one day they bloom. But we have no way of knowing. God, Joe, you just opened the gates and you showed me a beautiful bloom. Made me feel wonderful.
Yes, you got for me like 3 years ago. And so it Tour of Duty was a solid like 2.5 years. And I also don't think I got rid of it. I think it's in my car in the back seat, and I'm just like,
fuck.
It smells bad, but
it's like an air stinkener in the car.
But I'm like too afraid of fire to give it the Viking funeral, where I just like burn it and then push it onto a lake.
Mm-hmm. I think what you got to do is you got to turn that shit into a homemade mask. And you have one that says, "Don't draft me." And then Winnie has the other that says, "I watch anime."
Yeah, except for the problem is that they both smell like shit then. They just do not smell good. It's not pleasant.
That's the sacrifice you're going to have to make for anime, Joe.
Yeah, that shirt made me realize that the best sleeping shirts are like workout shirts because they're extra breathable and shit. So my disgusting shame led me to like a low stakes life hack where I discovered how to sleep in clothes right.
Hell yeah. Best gift ever.
Never been horny. Never been horny. Don't tell the paper that I ever got horny.
So to end the All Goofs episode, Joe, you suggested that we both think up our top 3 tweets of all time. Good idea. I totally agreed, but...
An impossible task. It's an impossible task.
I immediately forgot what jokes were, forgot how to read. It just, like, literally can't be done. And, like, even as I was, like, scrambling to find tweets, like, I knew that, like, as soon as this was recorded, I would find, like, 100 ones that I thought were way better.
Right. So, really, what this exercise is top 3 tweets on a particular day with no prep and in a panic sort of way, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the state that you're gonna be in like 99% of your life.
Yeah. So it's accurate.
Yeah. So I think a good way to frame this is not top 3 tweets, but it's like name one tweet that is AA plus rank, another tweet that is S rank, and then finally a tweet that is perfect platinum rank. That way it's not set in stone that these are the only ones that are that rank.
And it's good to use the Capcom system for everything because it's funnier than letters.
Yeah,
It's just the best.
The idea that getting an A is like an abject failure you should be ashamed of is so good to me.
Yeah, I think in Devil May Cry, the first one, B stands for boring, which is pretty good.
You got to go to cram school for Devil May Cry so that you get S's only.
Yeah.
So, Joe, let's fucking start in on our AA plus rank tweets. What do you have for AA plus?
This is a Brooks Outerlake tweet that has 386 likes, pretty low numbers, and it's fucking incredible. Here it is. Rattling the metal handle of my buddy's screen door with frightening force. When do I get to meet that wife of yours?
Oh!
Screen door is such a good detail. It's like invasive. It's just like someone is trying to get into your kitchen, and it's not great.
The screen door is always going to be the first of 2 doors. So, like, it's threatening, but also incredibly incompetent. That's like, even if you get past this door, there's going to be a way more substantial door. But he's still going to want to meet that wife.
Yes, yeah. He's going to pound on the glass door.
Also love the implication that he is this person's friend, but has never meeting their wife.
Yeah. Real good shit.
The wife has been kept from this strange person for an indefinite amount of time, and he's like, that's just still my friend still. Love it.
All right, what do you have for AA rank?
All right. So this is a tweet from Utility Lim, who is a mysterious sort of cryptid who made a ton of incredible tweets and then stopped in 2012 with his 665th tweet.
He even did a gag where he's like, ooh, the big devil number coming up, and then he never tweeted again. Which is so impressive.
So strong. Anyway, no, here it is. AA rank. AA plus rank from Utility Lim. Programming skills, primarily Ruby and Python, but I can use any type of gem to control any type of snake.
This is every job description. It's really good.
And just, we like jokes about magic gems, and like this is one. It's so good. What can I say? Joe, what is your S rank tweet?
So I actually have another utility limb tweet.
Oh, hell yeah.
This was tweeted February 1st in 2012. It's sad thinking of all the dogs in old movies that have died, but even sadder thinking of the earth we fled because of the dogs that can't.
This is one of those jokes that like you have to like look at it for a while because it's hard to grasp what he's saying at first.
Yeah, imagine Wall-E, but the reason they left the planet is because there's dogs that can't die
That
and
were
they just
in
had to
movies.
leave.
Specifically, movie dogs that can't die.
Yeah. Yep. Lassie is a horrible like bone dragon now, and it's taking over Cincinnati.
She's lived for 100,000 years and would love to die, but cannot.
Yep.
All right. For me, my S rank tweet is from Drill, the fucking king. I mean, there are some times where it feels cliche to just list the one that everyone knows, but like, let's not kid ourselves. The reason everyone knows Drill is the best is because Drill is the best. And I think his best tweet ever, at least at my opinion at this point in time, is as follows. So you persecute Jared Fogle just because he has different beliefs? Do tell. Parentheses, girls get mad at me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remove it.
Subway Jared jokes are a cheat code. Whenever I see, I think it's either a DC or a Marvel comic where there was a Subway tie-in and like Superman is like teaming up with Jared, that's good shit, man.
In Community, I rewatched Community recently, and there's like a big running joke that Subway keeps trying to take over the school. And in one episode, Jared's there. And I'm like, oh, they didn't edit this out. Oh, okay. And Netflix let this stay. That's nice. And like all great, like all-time Drill tweets, like on its face, it's just a great joke. But also like it's super prescient and like knowing about how the world works. Like, first of all, like this is how Twitter is. Like if you want to be a tweeter, you're going to have to say something extremely stupid and just know that you might get yelled at and have to pretend that you didn't mean that. And also, like, so many fucking pundits are basically, their entire career is saying this. Like, Barry Weiss is basically this. Like, oh, just because you disagree with this person, you say they're a Nazi, and it's like, well, it's because I disagree with them on genocide-related issues, Barry. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to remove it.
Yeah, it's good. It's also the fact that it's girls is so funny.
Oh, yes. If boys got mad at him, he wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah, you can't get caught slipping for the ladies.
All right, Joe. What is your pure platinum tweet?
My pure platinum tweet is, again, a Brooks Otterlake tweet. Tom, can you actually read this and do the voice? Because I think you would do it much better than I can.
All right, here it goes. This part is in brackets. Deep South Tobacco CEO voice. Now, this here Bowser character enlighten me as to why Mr. Mario's got such animus for the boy.
So fucking dumb. It's so shitty and dumb. I love it.
Like, yeah, nothing to say. Like, you get it. That's good, right?
That's just fucking good. All right, what do you have?
My pure platinum tweet is a tweet that summarizes my entire outlook on life and also is every single show we've ever talked about on Anime Sickos. Like, you don't need to watch any of them. Just hear this. This is by @BromanConsole. I don't know who this person is or if they've ever done any other tweets. Just this one really gets me. And it goes thusly. Anime villain about to win. Don't you see? Having friends is stupid. Friends suck ass. Anime hero suddenly pissed off and glowing with power. Did you just say friends suck ass?
I started watching Black Clover, and that's like the show.
Like, that is the script of Black Clover. Right there, every single fucking villain says, having friends sucks ass, and Asta is like, did you just say friends suck ass? And there you go.
Yeah, and then he hits him with his book sword.
If the thing that really puts this over the edge into pure platinum is that, like, it's right. Like, this is really good. Like, this isn't bad. It's good.
It's perfect. And we joke about how every shonen is about just like the power of friends and whatever, but like it's also very endearing because like when you're an adult, friendship is like hard to do and people are busy. So
Also, like, they don't, like, society don't want you to have friends because it distracts you from producing value.
Yeah, you're allowed to have like one romantic partner, and
they would like it if you didn't like them. If you were like sort of pissed at them and didn't connect with them, that's ideal.
Right, and your friend is someone you get a beer with once a month, and then you only talk about work.
Yeah.
I think this is why King of the Hill is such a fucking good show, because like a huge part of it is that Hank Hill has 3 homies.
Yeah. Yes. It's true. That's why it's anime. Someone will come up to, like, Khan will come up to them, and he'll be like, having friends is stupid, friends suck ass. And then Hank will say, did you just say friends suck ass? And then, like, Khan will be their friend for, like, a while.
Yeah, and they'll, I don't know, use a backhoe to dig a big hole and fix a sewage problem. Like, there'll be some very practical application of friendship.
King of the Hill kicks ass. Folks, thank you for listening to our All Goofs episode. It was pretty silly, but I think it was good. Joe, you liked that.
Yeah, I like it. I like it especially because there is a big list of like little dumb things in Trello that never had a home, and now we get to empty that list out.
Archive. Gone.
It's gone now.
Ship be blank. I love it. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time. I've been Tom, an anime sicko.
I am Joe, an anime sicko.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.